Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new video for you all today. So today, we are venturing on to none other than the Inferno. Released into the game June 1st, 2017, we are starting this challenge January 1st, 2025. What you're seeing here on screen is my very first attempt, so let's see how far we get. But overall, in this video, you guys are going to be seeing 30 hours of Inferno progression, and hopefully by the very end of this we can solidify the fact that we are going to get this cape. However, not on the first try. On our first try we did die at wave 15. It was kind of difficult to record every death in this video. You might see sometimes that it's a little instant, you know, rather than kind of seeing the whole fight for what it is. And that's mainly just because this Inferno run for me personally takes on average like an hour and 50 to 2 hours and 10 minutes every single time, so it's very hard to record every single thing, but nevertheless I will try my best to explain what is going on as we are progressing through these waves for the very first time. So this is my second attempt, and as you can see we've already gotten almost 50 minutes into it, and just looking at the fact that we've got the major spawned, you know that we got well past wave 15, which was our first attempt. So the second attempt is already going smoothly. As a matter of fact, just fast forwarding a little bit here and showing that my supplies aren't the best, even though they weren't sufficient enough to get to Zuck, we still made it to over wave 50 on our second attempt. And keep in mind, even though I'm making so many mistakes here and you know, probably getting judged a little bit, I had never watched an Inferno guide before this, and the only practice I ever really had with this was just kind of getting some advice from a friend of mine who had done well over dozens of kill counts, and he kind of showed me a run the night before I started this grind. So I kind of had that in my mind on what to do, but there are so many mechanics here and so much that you have to focus on and so much that you have to do with your prayer, flicking, and just so much more other than all of that, that even watching just one little instance of my friend doing it the night before I started, that was only going to prepare me so much. Nowadays they have simulators, they have so many different practice sites that you can go on, but I'm just not a big fan of all of that, so I didn't really have a whole lot of prep before starting this. So the fact that we made it to over wave 53, actually finishing up 53 and getting to 54 now on our second attempt, really gave me a boost of confidence, or so it did at first, because I quickly realized that every wave after 50 gets difficult, but every wave after 60 gets extremely difficult. As you can see, this is wave 54, where not only are we dealing with a blob all the way to the west of us, but we also at the same time have to pray flick against the major and the ranger, and you have to know what you're doing here with timing or you can instantly get killed, and that's really just what got me on this occasion here. I just didn't really know the timing exactly, and for some reason I didn't want to go behind the pillar to kill the blob, so it's just another lesson learned. But getting to wave 54 on our second attempt definitely gave me the confidence to keep going, and here we are on our third attempt, already surpassing wave 54, entering none other than wave 58, and I am standing on the wrong starting tile. As you can see, that tile next to me that is labeled 50, that's where I'm supposed to stand at the start of each of these waves, and I wasn't even doing that, so just kind of goes to show that I'm not the greatest at you know, retaining information, and especially in the moment when so much is going on like this, reaching all the way up to wave 62 and having to deal with a ranger and a blob, and unfortunately just kind of panicking there, misclicking outside of the pillar and getting hit by the major. If you have done Inferno before, I'm sure you know about all that you're seeing and all that you're hearing now, and if you're brand new and you've never done this before, you're kind of getting a glimpse on what it's like for a newcomer to kind of try this. Surely I have a lot of PVMing skills and a lot of practice on different bosses in this game, but I've never touched anything that comes close to this. So yeah, just know that you probably know my skill set after watching my videos for however long you've been watching for. The fact that I can get to wave, you know, 60 plus just after a few attempts, I think that means anyone can do this. And I was still making you know, small little mistakes on earlier waves. Like I would die on on wave 45. I would die on a 50 wave, maybe an early 60 wave, but you learn more as you die, and practice really does make perfect as it goes for Inferno, because the more mistakes you make, the more you learn, and then the more you learn, the less mistakes you make later on. One thing that I constantly found trouble with was the melee, just this melee snake that spawns and continues to attack you and doesn't really get frozen when you want to freeze him, and then if you have a bad spawn, it's kind of hard to maneuver yourself around him, so you end up taking so much damage. And really, I have nowadays learned more on how to avoid problems like this, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys in these 30 hours, there were so many mistakes that happened in the very beginning, but as time went on, I was learning how to prey flick, I was learning timing, I was learning positioning, supply usage, as well as just having the best in slot gear for this challenge. As you can see here on wave 60, we are prey flicking the ranger and the mage at the same exact time, and that took a while for me to learn, but once I got this down, I never forgot how to do it. You just basically switch your prayers based on the movement of the ranger, and after you learn that, you're all set to go. Unfortunately, we still took an L on wave 61, but like I said, these waves that are even like the wave 52 here, you have to do the same exact thing. So any wave past 50 is challenging, and then like I said, after 60 is where it gets really scary, but nevertheless, that leads us to wave 63 now, and unfortunately, just one misclick, and there you go. It's just that simple to die, and that is a huge amount of supplies that I had left over, so that was a very big hit there. I mean, that was just unfortunate, because when you have that many supplies at the later waves, your odds at completing Zuck are much higher. So I always hated dying when I had a lot of supplies, but I tried my best to conserve prayer and HP throughout this whole grind. And after a lot of successful days and attempts and failures, here we are at wave 65, which is a really easy one because you just have to trap your spawns. And that leads us to wave 66, where you kill 2 majors. And then after that, you get 1 normal Jad, level 900 though, and you just have to complete that. So let's go ahead and kill this Jad. This attempt was 122 minutes, as you can see at the top left, and I was feeling pretty confident. I just had to tag the healers, and one thing I wasn't anticipating was all of the damage that these healers were going to do to me. And there is a way where you can trap them behind Jad. There's also a way where you can only have one of them attack you at one time, which I will be doing here shortly. But I was just kind of new to this, and I was panicking, so I just feel like blood barraging them would do me justice, and it did get me all of my HP back in time, as well as a blowpipe spec. So we did manage to kill Jad, which leads us to our second to last wave, which is none other than triple Jads. We did hit triple Jads on day 3 of live streaming all of this on twitch.tv/MrNoSleep. So if you ever want to see this action live, that is where you go for that. I am live most days from 4 p.m. EST to midnight up until 2 a.m. EST. Yeah, triple Jads I knew I wouldn't have a problem with, because I just knew the prayer style, I knew the pray flick, and you know, just when you think you know everything is when you get killed. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for me, and we did not make it to Zuck, even with those nice amount of supplies left. So that was definitely a bummer, but we just get right back in there, and we continue forward, and hopefully we don't get killed at triple Jads this time. I don't even want to tank a hit. I just want to be able to successfully do this with 0 mistakes, and with all that being said, we were able to do it with, well, not 0, but very minimal mistakes. And this is when I should have probably practice the simulator that they do have for this, where you can just pretty much do this wave on another website and essentially just runs it as if you would in the main game. So I didn't have any practice, I didn't even check it out, but I just wanted to try out Zuck for the first time. So here we are. As you can see, we have all of the tiles marked as to where we need to stand while we are running with the shield and continuously hitting Zuck. The only thing is, we're about to have a lot of things spawn, and we're going to have to multitask this. So as you can see, we have the ranger spawn, and the goal is to kill him as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I just was not able to kill him quick enough, and then I decided to prioritize the major for some reason, which you definitely do not do in this situation. So I didn't get the ranger killed. He ended up killing me, and there you go. That was my first Zuck attempt. Not the best one ever, but I did not think I was going to get it the very first time I saw him. So we just have to step it up a notch and continue on. I think think the hardest part about this is just the grind to get back, you know, taking 2 hours every single time just to get to triple Jads, and then, you know, having to actually do triple Jads successfully, which is easy, I would say, but it is very stressful. I mean, it's just high focus, high energy. Like, you have to be on point here. You cannot make a single mistake. And honestly, that goes for every wave beforehand too. And did I forget to mention that supplies matter? As you can see, reaching Zuck is one thing, but having no supplies for it, that's a whole nother problem on its own. So maybe this time we can at least kill the ranger and then kind of go from there. But having like virtually no prayer is not going to help us much. And although if you're very talented, you could probably pull this off with this minimal amount of supplies, I'm certainly not at that level. So yeah, again, if you want to follow this journey and watch this all live so you can hopefully see me get my Inferno cape soon, it will be on twitch.tv/MrNoSleep. But this is kind of the conclusion as to where I'm at now, guys. I have actually made it to Zuck multiple times. As you can see there, we did successfully kill the ranger, but then we were dragged out by the major, and we should not have even been trying to kill the major. I should have focused Zuck. Once Zuck gets to a certain amount of HP, that's when you kill the major, and then you go right back to Zuck, and then a Jad spawns, and you have to kill the Jad. I mean, it's a whole thing. So yeah, and we haven't even gotten to the healer part yet. So there's a lot to this Zuck fight. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot to remember, and you have to have a good amount of supplies. That really does play a big role in this fight, and I would say arguably the hardest part of the fight is the very end of it. So it's kind of like I had to learn every wave of Inferno, and once I got that down, which honestly I still kind of struggle with the later 60 waves, or I should say the later 50 and early 60 waves. Once you master all that, then you have to master basically just killing the ranger, getting a little lucky, and just getting some good DPS on him. And then it's like different parts of the Zuck fight that you have to remember as well. And I was taking Zuck hits left and right, which you definitely don't want to be doing. So yeah, it's really all about timing and just making this the perfect run that you possibly can. And that's kind of what I was trying to do, was that even though I knew I didn't have these supplies to complete this, I still wanted to keep practicing. And once I was getting Zuck's HP below 600, then I was going to go ahead and kill that mage. That makes it so that hopefully they don't respawn again and you don't have to deal with them. But at the end of the day, like after we kill this mage, we have a Jad that is going to spawn while we are killing Zuck, while we are running with the shield. And again, this is coming from someone who had never watched a long, in-depth Inferno guide. I've never watched Inferno streams. The only things I ever did with the Inferno was on day one, I watched Wooks get it, and then after that, I watched Bodhi get it, and that's it. I never really cared about it after that. I never watched it. I never wanted it, and all these years went by, and I'm trying to make 2025 a productive and a great year for so many different reasons. So that's why we're trying to get this cape, and as you can see, you know, juggling Jad as well as Zuck at the same time, and then not even mentioning the part of the healers, which after you kill Jad, you have to go and continue to kill Zuck, continue to keep up with the shield, and hopefully not make any mistakes. And at the same time, once those healers spawn, that's when it's game over for me, and we haven't even gotten there yet. So I'm gonna have to master that, and then if we can get past the healers, we can get past Zuck. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the 30 hours of Inferno footage I have. I have left you at the point that I've left myself at, and we are going to continue this grind on Twitch. And with all that being said, the next video you see will be me getting this cape. So enjoy the journey, not the destination, as they say. But I'm going to be honest, I'm looking forward to that destination when I'm wearing that Inferno cape and just chilling after this whole journey has been accomplished. Well, thank you guys so much for watching the video today, and a huge thank you to the YouTube channel members, with a special shout out to DaeDogGaming, xXzoticx, and DeceptionZ. I hope you all have a great 2025, and until next time, Mr. No Sleep out.